Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And Scotland is failing, and there's a report saying why. I'm afraid to say it's a whole series of terrible First Ministers that are to blame. And we're going to take a look at this. Economic incompetence aside, and boy, are the SNP economically incompetent. It's been exposed by a damning new report that the economy has slowed under 17 years of SNP misrule. This report was written by a former chief economic advisor to the SNP, so it's their own people, it's their own internal report. And they're saying that the SNP executive are basically to blame. The conclusion is that it is all style over substance, it's all spin over delivery, and it is all telling people what's going to happen without actually making it happen. They're not doing the groundwork. They're not doing anything of substance. And it is fantastic. Now, Scottish Fiscal Commissioner Chairman Graham Roy and Glasgow University lecturer David Waite worked on the paper. Now, they've looked at the economy since 1999, i.e. the beginning of the Scottish Parliament. And they picked apart all the things that have gone wrong. In particular, and this one's a cracker, they said that the big boast that the SNP like to claim, which is that Scotland is the favourite port of call, if you like, the best destination for inward investment in Britain, is a lie. It is not true and never has been true, despite all the boasts of Angus Robertson, who uses that claim to jet around the world pretending that Scotland's a brilliant place to invest in. It's not. It's brilliant for Angus Robertson. First class all the way. You know, champagne and caviar. Lovely. But there is a lack of a shift of weaknesses. They won't recognise weaknesses. They don't accelerate their strengths. And they're doing everything to make sure that the leader looks good, not that Scotland looks good. It's all about impressions. And they're saying that this is why it's in the bottom quartile for all countries within the OECD. This is a big number, and they're in the bottom. It's the weakest nation economically of the four home nations, and it is the weakest in terms of investment per firms. In other words, it's got the lowest number of limited companies per 10,000 people of anywhere of the devolved nations or any of the English regions. It is a complete and utter failure on every metric, and it is all down entirely not to the party but to the leadership of the party, they are saying. Another one of the SNP's favourite boasts they've investigated. This is about the free university places. This was mentioned as the country has one of the highest shares of workforce who have gone to university or college, but the paper states there's still a range of labour market challenges, which is mainly skills shortages. So what they're saying is they've got the highest number of people going to university, but most of them are going to university outside of Scotland and not returning. And I've said that before. And why would they return? Yes, let me go back to Scotland and pay tax. Yeah, never going to happen. Scotland's economic growth has slowed under the Nats. No surprise. It's enjoyed a strong rise of average of 2% a year in real terms until 2008. What happened then? Well, obviously that was the year of the big crash, but it's never recovered. But so it was growing under Alex Salmond. His policies were still in place after Nippy took over, but then it went down. And it has sunk considerably and has continued to sink until 2019. It then flatlined. Flatlined. Terrible, isn't it? So it goes down as low as it can and then flatlines. He said there's been a remarkable consistency in the approach over the last 25 years. Of language and presentation has differed, but it's all the same. They talk big and deliver nothing. New ideas have come and gone, but the underlying economic challenges, they say, and opportunities remain. And whether this reflects a consistency of approach or lethargy for change is an open question. Basically, they've got no appetite to change anything. What is and always will be. Do you know there is a truth in evolutionary biology? Evolve or die. If you stay the same, you're just going to go extinct. You have to evolve. And in Scotland, that's not going to happen because you've got the same party in charge for so long, doing the same things time and time again, and nothing will ever change. It is stuck in this permanent state of decay. So when he boasted about the economic growth the SNP achieved when he was quizzed about it as First Minister, in First Minister's questions last week, he said that Scotland's GDP per capita has grown faster than the UK's since 2007. He said, no, it hasn't. He said this was accounting for population growth. He said, but it was pointed out that he was being very selective with his statistics. Since 2014, the country has grown at about half the rate of the UK. And in the period before that, the growth was largely down to oil and gas. Yes, let me tell you about oil and gas. It's good. It creates jobs. It creates growth. It brings money in. And now, since 2014, Scotland's growth in the last 10 years has been half the UK average and about to get a hell of a lot worse. We've just heard this week, or end of last week anyway, that the big oil companies are starting to leave. And they're just going to pull out. They're starting to go already. No more investment. How do you think that's going to affect Scotland's performance, economy, GDP, wealth, everything? What's the investment going to be? Where's the taxation income? Where's all kinds of spending? Nowhere. Scotland is about to go third world under the direct direction of the SNP. Nobody else. Them and them alone. And when Scotland has finally sunk below the horizon and is in a state of absolute penury, only then will the SNP morons who keep voting for this party go, maybe it's Westminster's fault we're poor, and it isn't. But maybe then they'll change and go, maybe I'll try someone else. Be far too late for that, sweetheart. Stop voting SNP. They're the ones who've destroyed you. How do we know that? The SNP's own report is telling you. Vote SNP, vote for extinction. Because these morons will never, ever change. They're quite incapable. They're fixed, obsessed, and stupid. As indeed are the people who vote for them. Hey-ho. Anyway, we'll leave that there. Funny to see. Nice to see. Till next time, stay safe, stay well. Let me know what you think. I will speak to you in about 20 minutes. Thanks a lot. Bye.